I'm Barbara Rimkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute. We've talked about maps before on History Minute.
We have?
Haven't we? I think we have. Well, if we haven't, we've certainly used a lot of maps to illustrate some of the things we've talked about. Maps are important tools for historians, and there are all kinds of maps in our collections. Today we're going to look at a map that was really more art than map. During the 19th century, there was a type of map called a bird's eye. These maps, which were made all over the country starting in the 1860s, look like they're made by flying over the town, something that really wasn't possible back then. Maybe if your neighborhood was right next to a mountain, you could look down at the street layout, but most places, and certainly Exeter included, didn't have a great vantage point like that. They also weren't drawn by someone hovering in a balloon, although you get points for that guess because balloons were used for spying during the Civil War. But no, not for making bird's eye maps. To make this kind of map, an artist, not a cartographer, would visit the town, walk the streets, and make sketches of all the buildings and scenes. Later, the sketches would be added to a basic road layout, and using the magic of perspective, it would create a story about a town. The maps were sold to the public by local booksellers. Sometimes there were ads around the border. Exeter was the subject of two bird's eye maps. In 1884, German-born artist Henry Wellage arrived in town in the fall, when the town looks attractive. You wouldn't want a map of anywhere in New England in, say, March, when it would be a big old map of mud. On the resulting map, both Phillips Exeter Academy and the Robinson Female Seminary are prominently featured, as is the bustling business area in the downtown. There are people canoeing on the Exeter River and schooners making their way up the Squamscott. The B&M Railroad Depot is busy with a train chugging toward the station. You could buy the full-size map for $2 or spend just 25 cents for a small version to send to your relatives. The basic idea was to show the town as a lively community, bursting with activity. Today we might call it economic development boosterism. Another bird's eye map was produced in 1896, just 12 years later. In that time, the west end of town had undergone great industrial and residential growth. The perspective of the map changed to bring this part of town closer from the horizon. This map brings us a slightly more modernized vision of Exeter with windmills, factories belching happy smoke, and more people in the downtown. But it's pretty similar to the earlier map, and like it, it sold well. From a history perspective, it's pure gold telling us what people wanted the town to be. It doesn't show muddy roads, trees don't obscure the views of the buildings, there's no road construction or sewer projects. Everything is very tidy. Once airplanes put a camera in the sky in the early 20th century, the bird's eye map industry came to an end. We're lucky that Exeter was visited twice by talented bird's eye artists. Want more? There's an article about Exeter's bird's eye maps on our history blog, which you can find along with hundreds of other articles about Exeter's history on our website, www.exeterhistory.org.